Yay. So hi, everybody. Is everyone coming in? I see some people from our academy, people from the group. Happy to see everybody here. We're going to talk about this very important and interesting, maybe even controversial topic, like can everyone continue relationship through the veil? And I did say when I posted the event that technically the answer is yes. Like, yes, everyone can, but what do we mean by continuing relationship? And is it always in the best interest of everyone involved? And it can and can't, it might not be. So we're going to talk about it. So basically, it comes down to that the understanding, you have to understand the differences between the relationships we have. Not to say that one relationship is better than the other. Okay, I really want to emphasize that. It's not about that at all, because love is what it's about. The love, whether it's love for a child, a parent, a sibling, a friend, a partner, love is love. The grief is going to take everybody down, no matter who that person is that you're grieving the loss of. Okay. It's so I don't want anybody to say, well, my grief is worse because I lost a child, or my grief is worse because I lost my husband. Grief is grief and love is love. And let's just end it at that. But what I'm really talking about is we're saying continuing relationship. And I don't mean just having communication periodically, because really anybody can have that. You can have that. And Alan's telling me a lot of people do. They do have spontaneous communication, maybe with a family member or maybe even the partner, but someone on the other side. And and that's great. And maybe that's what they have. Maybe it's only on their birthday or once in a while, right? It's not on, when I say continuing and ongoing, I mean ongoing. I mean like every day. And not only that, it could be throughout the day. Okay, so I mean ongoing, as if they were really here in a body and they were right beside us and living with us and going, hey, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And what's for lunch today? Or, right? I mean, that kind of continuing relationship. But there is the second option of, okay, it's sporadic. Like I get contact or I get communication but it's at different times. And I don't really necessarily control it. Right. So there's that. So people can have that, or they could just have communication for a while to find closure with the person. Because sometimes when somebody crosses over, there's a lot of remorse or guilt, even maybe because of how they behaved or treated us or others, or or just how they left, that they kind of left a mess behind, right? Like they kind of it he's Alan is saying they ejected too soon, like took their life. And sometimes that is a choice they deliberately made, which, by the way, is not a sin. It doesn't go against any spiritual law or rule. Nobody is, in trouble when they get to the other side because they took their life. Some souls, in fact, plan this. That's not common, but it does happen. They plan to take their life, and you might wonder, why would they do that? But there's reasons for everything, and really only their soul knows the full reason, like why they're going to have this experience. But the point is, the life goes on, and when you're in a body, the life you're having it's so brief. I know it feels like forever if you're struggling with something, but really this life is very brief, but your eternal life is forever. So your soul knows that. And it doesn't flinch at all, thinking, okay, I'm gonna struggle with something, or I'm gonna have some challenge, because it knows that it's going to be over so quickly in the grand scheme of things and time and space. Well, there's no time over there, but here, right? It's all accepted. It's all embraced, because again, they know no one can be destroyed. Pain is momentary. It could even be, let's say, relieved, because really, if suffering becomes that intense, whether it's emotional or physical, you can leave your bodies. People have spontaneously left their body when dealing with trauma. So you have that like escape hatch, is what Alan's saying. Like, I can't take this anymore. And some people will take their life, and that could be actually the most benevolent outcome for them because they weren't going to turn it around. So would you want someone who was in such a bad way, who really believed and actually perhaps were in a state where they couldn't get better? Would you want them to keep suffering, knowing that they can't die anyway? So no, we wouldn't want our loved one to suffer. So yeah, technically you can continue the relationship with your loved one through the veil. Now they have to agree, and usually they do, but I'm going to share with you something that I saw on I think it was Netflix, and there were so many I was watching back when Alan passed. And so I'm sorry, I can't remember which one it was, but I do remember the situation. So the medium was talking about a mother who began to have active, ongoing communication with her son. She knew it was her son, and she was getting communication and was talking to him all the time. I mean, all the time. I would say probably a little bit obsessively. And of course, he was fine with that in the beginning because he's trying to help her heal. So of course they will do that, like talk to us because they want us to get through this, right? But at some point, he pulled back and he became concerned about his mother because he saw that she was living for him. And he said, "You cannot live for me. I'm not your primary partner. I'm here on the other side and I actually have a partner. That person is my person. I love you and I can always be with you. I can come in and connect, but you're not meant to be continually talking to me." That he didn't say this, okay, but I'm adding this. That is more the role of a partner or spouse, because that is the primary relationship. So you understand that it depends on the purpose of the relationship. The purpose of the relationship defines everything. Some people through the veil have agreed to work together, whether they are couples or parent and child or siblings, whatever. Okay, that then will define the relationship. And that means, yes, then they'll have a continuing connection because they have a purpose. It's all about purpose. So Alan's pointing out to me, like my mother, for example, because I've connected with her since she crossed over, and he's helping me. Like, he's brought her to me a couple times, and I get all emotional when I see her because I miss her, and I feel like I didn't take advantage of the time we had together when she was in her body, and she tells me it's okay that we will get together and do more on the other side, but right now in this time, I can see that there's no purpose for her and I to keep engaging, to do like sharing anything. She'll come up, she'll kind of show up for certain occasions, or if I want to talk to her. But as I wouldn't call that a continuing relationship. You see what I mean? Where I'm on regular communication, and again, Alan's saying, and we're working on something or sharing some common interest or goal. So using myself and Alan's example, he came back to say, we made a soul agreement that I would leave this world before you, and that from the other side that I would work with you and help people, and to teach and help them make contact and heal and all these things that I really wanted to do when he was in a body, but he wasn't interested. I met this man, the love of my life, 32 years ago by this point. And I thought, great, I have the spiritual partner and we're going to teach and do these things. And we share all these interests. And after a while, he wasn't interested. He kind of, well, if you've read our book, if you haven't, I suggest you read it, not because we want you to buy our book, but because I've heard from so many of you that it helped you understand this relationship that's possible through the veil. I'm going to have Maria drop the link to the book, and we'll talk more about it in the group too. In fact, we're going to create a kind of a group discussion group a book discussion group, sorry, about the book, because there's things in the book that will really, and I think haven't been highlighted enough, that could really help you understand about things like clairvoyance and spirit communication. But in any case, back to, this relationship, this agreement. And he said, we didn't get to have the relationship that we could have had, but there was a reason for it. There was a reason we had the problems we have. I promise you, there's a reason. You had the problems you had with your loved ones. Again, whether it's a partner or a family member, most of the time the relationship is challenged, right? On some level, for most people. Not everybody agreed, but for many of us, there's a reason for that, guys. On the other side, it's all perfect, rainbows and unicorns. Okay, but you come here, it's not supposed to be rainbows and unicorns. Do you see a unicorn anywhere? You might see rainbows, but do you see a unicorn anywhere? No, it's not supposed to be that way. If we signed up for this, I know you can, like me, rant and rave all you want and say, but that's not fair. Like, why can't it be like a fairy tale? It's like, no, we came here for the challenge. We came here to stretch ourselves. Many of you, I almost want to say all of you, but I can't, but many of you, maybe most of you, who are doing this relationship through the veil journey especially with us, especially in the academy, all of you in the academy, you're doing it not just for yourself to have that connection and to heal a relationship, because most of you've had issues in those relationships. So you got to heal that first. So, but you're not only doing it for yourself, but you're helping others. Okay, I talk about this a lot. We come here not just for ourselves, but for others. So Alan helped me understand that he and I didn't come into this life just to have this wonderful, perfect relationship, which you could have had. And I moaned about for so long after he passed, like, why couldn't we have had this passionate relationship then? And he said, but we didn't agree to that. We agreed to have problems, to demonstrate to people that there's a reason for the problems. There's a reason to overcome the ego is in the way. So it's kind of our story. It's a cautionary story for the people who still have their couples are still together. I've had so many people tell me, I haven't lost my partner yet, but thank you for reminding me of how important love is. And I don't want to take my partner for granted. So that's huge. You know how huge that is? Do you know that some of you are already changing lives by sharing your story and saying, I'm having this connection with my loved one through the veil, and other people hear that. And trust me, even if they kind of roll their eyes next year, years later, they'll remember you and think, is that possible? I wonder if that's really possible, because you planted a seed. So all of us are here to help do our part to wake humanity up to the reality that we don't die and that relationships can continue through the veil. And if people are asking, well, I want proof, you just tell them, like we do, well, get your own proof. We'll tell you how. You don't even need to study with us. You just need to begin to trust and believe and use your imagination, because that's not make believe. That's your creative power as the aspect of God that you are. What you see, what you imagine, and then what you think about that is created, is made manifest. You have that power. You're already doing it. You're just doing it rather unconsciously. So those relationships through the veil, he's saying they must have a purpose. Even like maybe they're to write a book, just one book together, right? Like the mother and the son or something. Or they're going to, or maybe that son is going to help the mother be a medium. I don't know. There could be so many scenarios that play out, but there's usually a purpose. Otherwise, why are you connecting with them? Beyond saying, I love you, I love you. What do you do after that? Like even us with our partners, right? How many times can you just be feeling their love and saying, I love you, I miss you? Like, okay, well, there's things to do. Because I'm in a physical body, that means I'm here to take physical action, right? Like, duh, like we're in a body, you're in a body, it's about taking action. Okay, not only about action, obviously, but that's the difference. They can't take physical action. We're to take action. So it's not enough to just study all these things and meditate all day, or, just try to always be peaceful and Zen and all that. It's like you have to learn to take the guided action, meaning trust the impulses you get, the feelings you get, and trust me, your loved one is sending them to you. Okay, they can so easily put thoughts into your head. Many of you experience that. You go, where did I get that idea from? So I have that happening. Oh God, more now. I'm going, okay, Alan, like, can you just like calm down? I can't do that today. Like, because they will ramp it up once they start noticing that you're taking it seriously, that you're not writing it off and saying, oh, I think I'm just making it up. I think I'm imagining it. I think this is all, make believe, or I'm crazy. No, that if you start to really embrace it and own it, then the communication ramps up. Okay, but they're not going to give you more than you can handle, usually. Usually, some souls on the other side are very, let's just say, intense, and they're different. So there's no rule here. That's why you got to be careful when you go to these other groups or mediums, even, and they're saying one person says this, another one says that. It's like, oh, they don't do this, and they do. Oh, it's like, what do you believe, right? So we suggest to you to get your information directly from them, directly from your own guides, directly from your own source, your connection, from your loved one, if you will. Let that be your proof. Let them tell you from their perspective. As I know some people in our Academy group have done, and said, well, this is what he said, whether it's through a medium or to them directly or whatever. And pretty much what they're coming through with is what I've been saying, what Alan and I've been saying. like it's all the same source. Okay, we're all can connect to divine mind and get the information. This truth has been hidden from you to disempower you. Okay, but the awakening is about you realizing who you are, that you are source energy in a body. I know some of you are not comfortable with the idea that you're God, and that's fine. You don't have to say you're God, but really, you are. But that's okay. You put another name on it. You can say, I am the universe. I'm all that is. I am creator. I am source. But you are the aspect, the part that is God, but you're also the oneness that is God, because you are everything. This is really hard for you to hold in your mind. Like, wait, I can be all that is and also be part of all that is. But yeah, that is true. So it's absolutely possible to continue a relationship with someone through the veil. The caveat is what is the reason? What is the purpose? I met my grandfather, who I never had met because he died long before I was born. And he came through, and he's so handsome and young, and he died of cancer. But my grandmother said he was very handsome, because she had been a Japanese picture bride, and she picked him because he had a nice smile and he looked nice, So, and he did. I saw his photo. I go, oh, my grandfather was really handsome. And he came through and talked to me, but I haven't seen him since, and I may not, because there's nothing for us to do together. But he's saying, I could feel it. He says, but I'm with you, and I'm always sending you my love. And I said, thank you. So they do that, right? They do that. And if I really needed him, of course, he would come in. If I said, Grandpa, I need you, he'd be right there. But I don't need him all the time. He's not part of my work. He's just there loving me, just like your family would. If you've lost your family and they're gone, that they would be here supporting you, but they're probably not actively involved in your life, are they? Maybe, depends, everybody's different. Some people, their family might have been working with them. But let's say for most people, they just got together maybe on weekends or birthdays and holidays. They weren't like constantly around them constantly, but everybody's different, because I know some families, right? The parent called them every day. So I'm not dismissing that. I'm just talking about on the average for most people. They're not, but they love them very much, but their family isn't actively part of their day-to-day. Okay. So yes, you can have contact. Yes, it's going to vary depending upon, well, what's the was the purpose. Now, with that medium and the son that was concerned about the mother, and he eventually told her, I'm going to pull back. I will always come back if you need me, but you need to move on with your life. You're not meant to live for me. And I'm always here for you. I'll always come in if you need me, but you have to stop talking to me constantly. I'm living here, and it's not that I couldn't come to you. Okay, it wasn't that. It wasn't like he couldn't be with her. He said it wasn't good for her. There's a big difference. He's able to, absolutely able to, but he could see the broader, bigger picture, that this is not healthy. You're isolating yourself. You're not connecting with dad anymore, or you're just talking to me because you were holding on to me, and this is not good for you. It's not that I can't do it. It's like, I want what's good for you. So I'm not saying, I want to be really clear, I'm not saying to any mother or father, parent, that your child doesn't want to talk to you. I'm just saying you need to keep that in mind. Like, you're still here in a body and you're here to live. And whether or not you have a relationship, like a primary relationship, whether you want that or don't or whatever, your child is not your primary relationship. They're not. And they have a primary relationship. They could have it on the other side, or they could be waiting for their partner, right? Because they could have crossed in, their wife or their sweetheart is still in a body. So they're connecting with her or him. Do you see what I mean? But it doesn't mean they don't love you any less than their partner. It's just different. It's just different. Does everybody understand that? It's just different. So, but I don't want to get off in this comparing. I actually think now, after really pondering it for a while, that grief for a parent, now that many of you understand that you can continue a relationship with a partner, I think a grief for a parent can be harder because of what I just described, because that's, your child's not your primary relationship, and nobody can replace them, right? So people who've lost a partner, sometimes the soul agreement was that they're going to move on and marry somebody else or be with somebody else. And so while they'll always grieve the loss of their partner, they could love again, right? They could love again and have that again, even if there's still this longing, this missing the other partner. Okay, but a mother or father can't do that. They can't replace their child, even if they have another child. We all know that. So for them, it can be just on different level. But again, the grief is not greater. Ours is not lesser. It's just different, and everybody's situation is different. So again, because not all couples are going to reunite through the veil, because that just wasn't something they planned. So if you're in that category of someone who feels strongly that you're to continue a relationship, the fact that you feel really strongly about it means that your partner, I would say 95% of the time, that was the agreement. Unless the person is just obsessive, like totally obsessive, like I can't let this go. But most people, mostly it's not the case. Okay, because it's just not the case. But usually if you feel that strongly about it, that is because that's what you agreed to do. And also you're going to find that your partner across the veil is reaching out, because again, if they felt it wasn't right for you, or that wasn't the agreement, they would be talking to you a little bit differently. They'd be coming through saying, or they would even bring somebody to you. And you'd go, wait a minute, I met this guy, like, what's going on? And you might hear your partner go, I brought her to you. I want you to be happy, because you never got to have a full relationship. Everybody's different, right? Everybody's different. I had 30 years with Alan. And even then, he says, if you really need to be with somebody, I would find them for you. Like, you just have to tell me, because I know we're going to be together, and I'm not jealous, and it's nothing. It's nothing. It just means, and not that this person is nothing. It just means I want you to be loved. It's all about love. I can still love you and be happy knowing that, you love somebody and they love you, because really it doesn't matter. But not that I want that. I'm just saying that can happen, that they'll do that. At one point, Swati, I don't know if I wrote it in the book. I wrote so much for that book that didn't get in the book. But I remember Swati was getting upset at Alan, saying, either you give Pam what she wants or you find somebody for her. I think I did write that in the book. You better find somebody to her, because Pam deserves to be loved. She gives her all in relationships. And she was really mad at him. Later, very quickly, soon after that, she changed her tune. She realized, wait a minute, it's not on Alan, to manifest for me or make things happen for me. She says, Pam, you're the creator of your reality. Alan can only show up to the degree that you believe he can. So she kind of, went, which I understood. She goes, that is the truth. I was putting too much on Alan. So I want to tell you folks too, don't lay all the burden on your loved one, whether it's your parent, child, or your partner, because it's up to us to understand, well, I'm creating this relationship. I'm creating what I'm experiencing. I need to go all in. I need to trust. I need to believe. I need to use my imagination. I need to let go of my fear. Okay. They cannot work around that if there's a lot of baggage we've got, a lot of issues we got, a lot of uncertainty we have and doubts we have. They can only do what they can. So they're rather a bit limited. So does that make sense to you folks about that? And I'm looking at your comments, sorry. Yeah, like Jan says, the thought never entered her mind that she and her Thomas would never be together across the veil. Yeah, so she was 100% sure that he was waiting for her. And I knew Alan was here. Okay, I mean, I had no doubt, because he was sending me this, and this love, and I was getting turned on when I opened the refrigerator door. I go, what the hell are you doing to me? What is this? Because I knew it wasn't me. Opening the refrigerator to get a jar of salsa doesn't turn somebody on, okay? Or when you're washing the dishes. So, but he would do things like that if I was washing the dishes or doing something, sneak up around on me, behind me, and I'd go, what are you doing? And he was doing that again. Okay, so it's easier, he's saying, in a sense, it can be easier to get that direct proof if it's a partner, because you can have that kind of experience like I just described. It's so, unmistakable. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, I went from feeling like bored to feeling like turned on. Like, I didn't do this to myself. I wasn't even trying. Like, how can that be? Okay, that's confirmation. Now, when it's talking about someone connecting with someone other than a partner, like a parent, like a child, whatever, it's going to be a little different, but you can still get physical contact. I was talking to my friend Sean, who reminded me that I was talking to him about physical contact because his mother passed away, and she came through to him to make contact because they had a very troubled relationship, and she wanted to make peace with that. She was rather disturbed through his childhood and was very abusive. So, but she had contact, like she would hold she grabbed his arm one time, and he had physical contact from her. So he's reminded me, he goes, yeah, we can have physical contact whether it's a partner or not. And I said, right, but you're not going to have intimate contact with your mother. That's not appropriate. And he goes, yeah, you're right. So it's a bit more intense. It can be, at least for partners. Okay. Again, doesn't mean it's better. I'm just saying it's different. But yes, loved ones through the veil can make that physical contact, but they're all different. So we can't compare. And I know it's easy to do that, to say, well, this person had experience, why can't I? And if possible, you could, but your loved one on the other side, they have to learn how to do things. A lot of them do. And for some of them, it takes time. It takes time. And who knows how much time? I don't quite understand that either. And Alan says there's a lot of different factors involved, but we can only do on our end what we can do. And that is, having faith, staying positive, using our imagination to kind of, he's showing me, set the scene. Set the scene for connecting with them. Because when you do that, he's showing me, it's like like you setting the table, like you're going to have a dinner and you set the table for your guests. In this case, let's say your guest is your loved one. You set the table and you planned all, you put the plates there, the flowers, whatever, you set it, you see it. Well, imagine that you're imagining that you're setting the scene of where you're meeting your loved one. And so you see it in your mind, and then you might start by imagining them in that setting at that table, for example. But at some point, the scene changes. Different things are added. Like you might find the table is now in a different location. Like, wait, we're in a different house, or we're outside by the ocean. Wait a minute, what happened? So what is going on is that they are coming into your imagination, into that world you've created, because they can, and they're interacting with you. Okay, this can happen just with your deliberate imagination, can happen spontaneously. Like this morning, Alan's reminding me this morning, I was just sitting there and I suddenly saw, and with my eyes closed, I saw this ocean that looked like it was so still. It was like a lake, there's no wave. It was just ripples like a lake. And it was pastel colored. And then the sun was rising. I was like, oh, this is really amazing. And I feel drawn into this ocean. And then I hear turn around, and I turn around. And this is all, I wasn't trying to meditate. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't dreaming. I turn around and I'm facing the shore. And I see Alan walking toward me from the sand into the water. Well, first I saw him dressed in these shorts that he used to wear. Okay, that he would go swimming in. But it was funny because it wasn't like it was my favorite pair of swim trunks or anything. I just go, oh, you're wearing that funky shorts that you used to wear. Not that it was awful, but it was like, I wouldn't have chosen that. And he knew that. He said, I knew you would have chosen me to wear that. So I wore that. So he walks into the ocean and I can see him so clearly. His hair, and he's young, and he's vibrant, and he comes up to me, and we're in the ocean, and he says, I wish we would have gone swimming together more often. We lived in paradise in Hawaii, like maybe 5 minutes from the beach. And the last time I swam with you in the ocean before I died was maybe 20 years before that. He said, I feel so bad about that. But here I am now, is what he's saying. And it was just so amazing. And he created all that. I know he created all that. And they can do things like that. Whether it's your partner or a family member, they create all that. But it can start by you just going with what you're seeing or deliberately imagining. They will step into that. They will insert themselves into your visual, okay? Because they can. So our job is just to trust that, to say, and just to go with it. The way you're going to get proof is by having this experience of them, not just seeing them, okay? Because you're easy for you to go, well, I just made that up in my mind. They can transmit emotion, okay, and trigger that in you, that it's not coming from you. He's showing me it's the two souls. And again, whether it's a family member or a partner, doesn't matter. The two souls who love each other, okay? Love is love. They can experience this transcendent love, this connection. And that's your proof. Let the goal be to prove it emotionally or in feeling sense, right? Like a tactile or emotional feeling, because they can give that to you. And he's saying that that's the thing to, more affirm, to more put at the top of the list. Let clairvoyance be more look toward the bottom of the list because it's a little more complex. But the feeling of their love, the feeling that I know I experienced my loved one, I felt them, okay, that you can't conjure. You just can't. Trust me, when I was not in a good way, I tried. You can't really. It's either, because he's showing me they come and they meet us, and that's what it is. Also music. You guys know we talked about that a lot, that listening to music, and whether or not your partner was musical, it doesn't matter. Music is still kind of coming from the soul. It's pure emotion, right? It's not left brain. it's not logical. It's purely emotional. And most songs are about love. Sure, some songs are inspirational. Some songs are, he's saying, are complaining or mournful or depressed or even angry, like maybe certain, rock songs or metal, heavy metal, whatever. But most songs, most music is very emotional, and most songs are about love, about loss of love, finding love, all that, right? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? And music is inspired. It comes from spirit. Every artist is a channel. They are bringing through the music that comes to them. Why do you think it happens? That the left brain can't create the music. It's the right brain, this connected spirit, that gets the inspiration. Here's the melody. How many musicians have said, songwriters have said, oh yeah, the song just appeared in my mind. I just knew it. I woke up humming it. Where do you think that came from? It didn't come from the logical mind. Oh, you guys, I'm not reading all your comments, but that's great. Thanks for sharing, everybody. So you can have contact. Okay. If it seems to falter or be inconsistent, do your best with that. It could be that connection is not to be ongoing, but they will give you what you need. I was saying they'll give you what you need. If you're needing healing and you need to have that contact right now, they'll give it more to you now. But just know that at some point, the goal is that you can carry on and you know that you can still talk, like I can talk to my mother anytime, but I'm not mourning her. I don't feel like I missed out. I just know she's there, like she always was when she was in a body. And you can carry on and live in the physical world, feeling that support. Okay, he's saying that they really want us to tap into that, because the sad thing is that when we're grieving, we're kind of disconnected. A lot of us are disconnected from our feelings. We're just numbed out because we can't handle it. So they want to bring us back to life, to feel our feelings fully. And that means you got to be willing to feel your pain to break through that. But they want to replace that pain with joy, with excitement, with this sense of this love that they want to broadcast to us. So you have to be willing to get through the pain, get through your tears, but know that on the other side of it is this love that they're transmitting, your partner, your family members, whoever, and you can feel it and it can carry you forward. Alan's saying to me that a lot of people in a body right now are not in touch with that love, even if it is on the other side, even if their family is on the other side trying to send them that, because a lot of people are shut down emotionally right now, especially for various reasons, but they're just shut down. And so they're not really alive. So ironically, our so-called dead loved ones are saying, can you guys come alive? You're the ones dead, not us. Open up to your feelings, open up to your emotions, let yourself be you. Because when you cross over, you realize, oh, I should have just been myself. I should have just been authentic. I shouldn't have cared what other people thought about me. I certainly shouldn't have cared that what other people thought about me having a relationship through the veil, because I shouldn't have expected anybody to really understand that, except people who are doing the same thing. And Stephanie, I'm so sorry you're having such a hard time with your grief. And I so get that. I was there, and many people here are still there. I know it's really hard. That's why let yourself cry. Know that the tears, the sadness, even the depression doesn't create anything negative. It doesn't necessarily mean you can't connect. It just means it's harder for your loved one to come through. Some of them can override that. Okay. But the more you just let yourself feel your grief and remind yourself that it's possible to communicate with your loved one, because that's true. And the more you think that, you start creating that. But if anyone who's grieving continues to think the thought, they're gone, they're dead, I'll never see them again, that is what you will create. And the reason it feels so painful to think those thoughts is because it's not true. Your emotional guidance system is telling you that your thoughts are not true. That's why it tears you apart. When you think a negative thought that isn't true, like thinking a thought like I'm unworthy, I'm stupid, I'm not good enough, I'm a terrible person, that's never going to feel good. It's going to make you feel bad. It's gonna bring you down. Why? Because it's not true. So when you think he's dead, he's gone, I'll never see him again. Over there, they're jumping up and down going, not true, not true. I'm right here. I'm right here. I promise you that. I mean, I have mediums saying the same thing. Well, your loved one was standing there jumping up and down going, can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. The reason it rips you apart is because it's the biggest lie you've ever been told. Death is the greatest lie. So the way through the grief is let yourself cry and remind yourself the truth. He's not dead. She's still alive. She's right here. Okay. And you'll feel a bit better because your soul, your spirit is telling you that is the truth. Your conscious mind is going to go, that doesn't make any sense. That can't be true. Don't listen to your conscious ego, physical mind, because it doesn't know the truth. It only knows the physical world. It doesn't know or believe in non-physical because it wasn't designed to do that. Your conscious physical mind is designed to believe in an illusion of separation, of ego. And that's why the conscious mind is never going to agree with this. And it's always going to doubt what it doesn't understand. So your challenge is to ignore that and listen to your higher self, your soul, which is saying, they're still here. So just feel into that when I say that to you. Your loved one's still here. They're right next to you. Doesn't that make you feel better? The reason it makes you feel better is because that's true. And when I tell you they're dead, you go, you just immediately sit down because that's a lie. So understand the emotional guidance system. I know Abraham Hicks, they talk about that. Emotional guidance system. A lot of manifestation people talk about that. That's the reality. Your emotions are trying to tell you that the thoughts that you're thinking that generate that emotion are off base. It's a lie. No matter what you do, you're not unworthy. No matter what, happens to you, you're innocent. No matter what you do, you're innocent. You're born because you're creator. You're here to make mistakes. Yes, that there's no judgment there. There's no criticism. Yeah. So a lot of us, Dawn is reaching out to you, Stephanie, and she knows what you're going through. We all know what you're going through. And I promise you that you can get through this and it can get better, that the grief can be certainly manageable. And it doesn't have to take forever. So I'm going to close with this. I say, this is your homework. If you want to take this as homework. So tonight, whether you're trying to connect with partner or a family member, friend, whoever it is, nighttime is when it's easier for them to make contact because we're kind of winding down, right? We're now getting ready to go to sleep or at least slowing down. So they more come in, especially partners, of course, they'll really come in. Like a lot of oh yeah, I feel my husband in bed every night. Yes, he's right there. Like, what took you so long? But even if parent or child, because you're calmed down now and you're relaxed, then call out to them in your mind or out loud if you're comfortable, if it's not going to bother anybody around you. Call out to them, ask them to come to you. If you want to visualize them in your mind, see their image in your mind, or look at their photo of them and imagine they're there because you are laying the table, right? You're inviting them in with your thoughts. And Alan says they're always only a thought away. That's it. So just think they're there. And then trust what you experience next, whatever it is, whether you see something else, you hear something else, you feel a presence, you notice there's a temperature change in the room, right? You smell something that shouldn't be there. You taste something in your mouth, that can happen too. You just go with whatever happens and say, all right, that was you. Even if you're not sure anything happens, I promise you, if you keep doing that, you're going to experience something sooner or later. You're the one that can manifest it. But you have to set the table. You have to, or set the stage, set the stage too. Lay the table, set the stage, say, here, I'm using my mind to open the door to you. I hope you'll come through. And then trust whatever happens. Don't, Alan's making me say, he's speaking strongly. He's saying this, don't you dare think that you're making that up. Okay? Honor your loved one and just believe and say, okay, I trust that was you. Because then you create it. You are declaring it, saying, this next thing that happens is you, and I'm going to believe it. And even if it's not strong right now, because spirit contact can be subtle, it can get stronger. But it starts with you believing with whatever you're experiencing right now. You can't expect there to be fireworks and, all this tremendous evidence at the beginning, because you're not there yet. You are co-creating the relationship through the veil. It's not all on them, and it's not all on you. It's on both parties. It's a two-way street. You part is to believe and trust and affirm, okay, and prove to yourself by having whatever experiences you have. You don't need to go to a medium all the time. Fine if you want to have a mediumship reading, great. But if you keep doing that, you're not going to develop your own abilities. So there's, it's a catch-22 there. So if you find yourself then relying on the medium more than yourself, that means that's not going to help you have that direct contact, ongoing relationship, because every time you trust somebody else to connect and you think they're doing a better job than you, what are you affirming? This medium is better at than me. Most people are going to believe that the medium is better than they are. And Alan's laughing. He goes, if you guys only knew that that's not true. A lot of the mediums, they're not better than you at all. I'm not saying all of them. Trust me, I know there's some amazing mediums, but a lot of them, he says, you can do a better job, but you just don't believe. So believe. That's what we're always saying. Believe, right? You're always saying it here in the group. Believe. Belief opens the door. Doubt shuts it closed and keeps it closed. So you cannot believe and doubt at the same time. It's like saying I love and I hate at the same time. Can you hold those two states that are kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum? No. So decide what you want going in. Do I want to believe? When you believe, you will eventually prove that is true, because your belief creates the outcome. And you'll say, look, I created that. And I'll say, great, because you believed it. Everybody else is believing something else, and they get that result because they believe it. They believe it's not possible. They get the result that it's not possible, because that's their belief. Right, Lauren's saying, believe and you will achieve. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So just decide. Decide. You can't be passive and say, well, I'm not going to believe until I see evidence. What did I just tell you? Your thoughts create. That doesn't work. You cannot have evidence unless you believe. The belief comes before the proof. Scientists have got it all screwy. You have to believe for it to manifest. You're only going to prove yourself right in your assumption. That's how it works. I believe this is how life is. I believe this is what's possible. The universe goes, great, here you go. Confirmation. That's your reality. That's how powerful you are. You believe you have this relationship with the veil, here you are. You don't believe it's possible, here you are. What do you believe? That's what you get. Yeah, Danny, isn't it amazing to know that we're creating these relationships together, and that through our relationships, we're helping others achieve that too, because we're making it easier. It's like a, Alan says, it's like a spiritual virus that's just going out and infecting everybody, and they don't even know it. Like, oh, how come I feel better? How come I feel like I can talk to my loved one on the other side? What's that about? Oh my goodness. How come I feel all this love? Like, what's going on? He's saying, yeah, this is a virus we're sharing. So thanks for joining in. This went long. I kind of knew it was going to go almost to an hour, and I didn't get to look at all of your comments, but thanks for listening. And if you have questions about anything, drop them in the chat, and please comment in Facebook, comment on this thread. The reason we ask you to is then the algorithm, Facebook's algorithm, will bump it up so that people will find the video. So the reason people can't find it a lot of times is because nobody's like commenting. Every time you comment, it bumps it up. And Facebook will just show the post, whether it's a video or a regular post, to people if it's got a lot of comments going on. Okay, so if you would like to help your fellow members see this, and I think it's worth them checking it out, please comment, just saying hi. Likes and hearts are wonderful, lovely, but they don't help that. It's your comments. Even if you say, this was great, or yay, or love this, or whatever you want to say, that will bump it up. But thank you for joining us. And if you haven't read our book yet, Alan's saying, what's taking you so long? We are going to have a book discussion group forming, and we're going to take you on a deep dive and show you how to use that book to connect to the other side, because it is a portal. And we're going to do all kinds of amazing things with that book. So go grab yourself a copy and get started. You will. Okay, I'm really not trying to push the book down your throat, but we're going to do bibliomancy with that book, meaning that you can get messages from that book, but you're going to need a physical copy. You can't do it on Kindle. It doesn't work on Kindle. You're going to need the physical book to do that. Bibliomancy is using a book to get messages. And you can look it up on Google. You can Google it and it'll show you. Usually a lot of people are using the Bible for that. Like, you ask a question and then you flip through the pages and your finger lands on a section, a paragraph or sentence, whatever, or just the whole page. And we did that for a while. I mean, we were doing that a little bit when the book came out. And who was it in the group that was telling me she was highlighting the sections that her fingers would land on, and finding the messages were so profound and pertinent to her that she said, I think I'm going to end up highlighting the whole book eventually, because she kept going through the. And I told her, I laughed and I said, we're just going to have to get another book. And but I thought that was so sweet, was so cool, because she said, yeah, she would ask her husband for a message, and then it would land on a certain paragraph or something, and she'd go, oh my God, like, yes, I can feel that that's what you want to say. So that's bibliomancy. So we're going to do that. The book, and I'm not saying it just because I wrote it. I know the book is magical. I've just heard from so many of you how much it shifted or opened up for you. So get the book. It's $14.95, and it's 354 pages long. It's a meaty book. And he says there's not one extra word that shouldn't have been in there. It was all, let's just say, I asked Ernest Hemingway to help me, like, pare this down. I think this is too wordy. You go, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Like, I was having fun when I was trying to edit it, and I'd go, I don't know how to do this. So I called on the spirit world to help me. And I had good editors too. And they were cool, but they told me that there wasn't really that much to change. because it went through several rounds of editing. And they said, no, you don't have that much to change compared to most people. That's because I had Ernest Hemingway helping me. And I told them that too. And they thought that was so cool. Well, that's great. Sorry, we can't put his name on the book. I said, that's okay. We don't want his name on the book. So, okay, love you guys. We're out now. Okay, and we're gonna be going to our Academy group in 30 minutes. And some of you, if you want to join Sean Lether's group, I put a link to the sharing group because I'm going to talk about my spiritually transformative experience, especially as it relates to the relationship through the veil, because that is a spiritually transformative experience. Sean reminded me today, having spirit communication is transformative. It counts as a form of spiritually transformative experience, similar to an NDE, but you didn't die without the pain. So it is an experience that will change you and evolve you. Okay, it's not just about reuniting through the veil. It's your spiritual growth, your spiritual awakening. That's what's ultimately about. So I'm going to share my story with the people in his sharing group, because if you haven't really talked about the grieving process being what they call an STE, spiritually transformed experience. So yeah, so join us there. And if not, you know, well, there won't be a replay because the sharing groups is all private. So you either show up or you can be in Sean's group, Hawaiian Ions. If you're a member of that group, you can just be in that group and watch it live streamed, or be in the Zoom, either way. But you can't, there will be no replay. So hope to see you there. Okay. Bye, everybody. Love you. Take care till next time. Bye-bye.